Guys, I met the one. He was tall, he had broad chest, he has broad chest. I think he's black American. He has beards. He really loves me. And then he really cares for me. He pursues me. Ah, he loves me just like Christ loves me. And so I've come to share with you guys that I met the one, but I could not hold on to him. And what do you think I mean by that? It was in my dream. In my dream, I woke up, I was very hungry. Very, very hungry. What do you mean? I woke up, I was looking for him. I could not find him. And it wasn't even my spec. And it just came, just like that, stole my heart and left in a hurry to go and do what in the future. Anyways, hi everyone. My name is Igbinlade Timlua Princess, the story shower, and you are welcome to the reviews corner where we dissect movies, books, anything that tells stories, anything at all. The reviews corner is a subsidiary of the Eden Global Productions, the sister to the Safe Space podcast. You are welcome. Beer Zomana. If you're in a relationship, okay, I just said Igbo and Hausa so that you don't get confused. What I'm saying is come. If you're in a relationship, come closer. You're single, come closer, closer, closer. You're in a relationship but you're not ready to get married, come closer. If you're ready to get married, you are engaged, you're getting married in like 2 weeks, a week, come closer. This particular episode is a very good episode. In fact, it is a different kind of episode because we're reviewing a book. A book, a book, a book, a book, a book. We're reviewing a book. We've been reviewing movies for so long, and I always say that at the beginning of every episode, we dissect movies and books. And I'm sure a lot of you have been wondering, I cannot see any book review on our channel. Please, where are the books that you're dissecting? I am a lover of stories. In fact, at my earliest years, when every other person has desires or hobbies, my own hobby is to be reading books, storybooks. I'm talking about novels, guys, and even fiction, even non-fiction, I mean. But so far, it's kind of relating to a book or a story. So far, it tells a story. I'm there basically, and I used to write. I used to write a lot. I write a lot, and I grew up writing a lot. I write stories. In fact, I had a Wattpad channel or username that I used to write stories. I don't even think it's completed actually. I I I was a lover of Wattpad, and yeah, in fact, I used to write scripts for like my church drama play. Guys, I've been a lover of stories, and so if I'm telling you that I'm about to review a book, you should be ready. Be prepared because this book is going to be a lot. So, I've mentioned so many stages, and if you are there, then this book is for you. Before I read this book, I used to think before you read books on marriage or relationship, you have to be married or at least engaged or at least be in a relationship. But when I read this book, I realized that is a wrong way to think. And also, before I read this book, I used to think if I'm going to read books like this, then it's going to make me crave marriage or relationship. Also, a big no. And I was also in a stage where, you know, I was hiring one brother like that. Then, before I read this book. And I used to feel slightly pressured that, oh, I needed all my life to be perfect, to be like just put together. And so if anybody is telling me, oh, are you in a relationship, you're not, wait, are you fine, are you okay, still a no. And so I would think that that means it is time, and so I needed to be ready, like my life needs to be put together. So if you're in this stage, like I said, this book is for you. And the title of this book that we're going to be reviewing is titled When God Writes Your Love Stories. It's a very beautiful book. I had a misconception about the book. I thought it was going to be, oh, this is how we met, this is what God did, and all those things. But no, it was nothing like that. A little bit of their own personal experiences added to it, but still, it wasn't a how we met book. So, When God Writes Your Love Stories is by Eric and Leslie Ludy. They're husband and wife. They're husband and wife. They're a couple, basically. And this book is a summary of how God writes the love story of people that are already whole and complete in Him. And so this book goes on to explain, not even explain, just to explore and show the journey of being whole and complete in God. And so you would go into this book thinking, oh, it's one of just those marriage and relationship books. But actually, it's a singles book just focusing on you, on your relationship with God, on being whole, on attaining completeness, on self-discovery, on working on yourself, on self-development. And anyone that wants to have a successful marriage will know that it takes one plus one to be whole. And so it's not half plus half that makes one, it's whole and whole that makes a marriage whole. And so this is what this book is about. Talking to us about the different ways of seeking God, the sweeter song. These are like, anyone that has read this book obviously understand this slang that I'm using now, sweeter song and all of those things like that. Hearing the sweeter song, giving the pen of your life to God, letting God write your whole life and not just your relationship life or your marriage life. And obviously they share their own personal story, and it's so funny to see that even in their different places, these two people had a similar journey in their walk with God, because God was preparing them separately for one another. It was so beautiful to see, because they were not sharing their story together. In fact, they independently, co-independently wrote the book, and it's like as though they just aligned it together, and it was aligned perfectly well. So we had Eric's part separately, we had Leslie's part separately, like in different parts, and it's not like half of the book, everything is joined together. So in chapter one or in part one, because they're in parts, in part one, in chapter one, you could have Eric talking, and then in that same part in chapter two, you could have Leslie talking, and it's just very, very beautiful. It's like as though I'm watching a whole movie about their life, but not really about their life, but like they're talking to me while also sharing their own life experiences. That is the book summary. And so, because we've not done a book review before, and you will think it's going to be a 6-pointer review, but it is not. In this book review, we're going to be talking about the book summary, which I've just talked about. We're going to talk about what you're going to talk about what you gain. We're going to talk about what you gain from reading this book, and then we're going to talk about lessons to learn from reading this book. Difference: book summary, what you gain from reading it, and the lessons that I learned. And I'm intentionally putting what you gain from reading it first before I talk about the lessons I learned, because I know you guys want to hear my opinion, right? Anyways, I have divided this into parts, into pointers. But let's dive right into what you gain from reading this book. First off, you actually start to see purpose in every season. Instead of waiting idle for marriage, you actually see purpose in your waiting season. This is very, very important, because a lot of times we are just waiting. Oh, a knight in shining armor is coming, our Prince Charming. When is he going to come? Oh, I'm just here. I'm just going to. And we think that being busy in your waiting season is like, oh, you're serving in church. That is if you're a Christian. Or being busy is that, oh, you're working. But actually, this book helps us to know that it's not just about working or serving, it's about just focusing on Him. Let everything else just go. Like, in the book, they share the story of Eric's older sister who entered into this completion with God, this oneness with God, to be able to say that even if the marriage doesn't come, even if the relationship or the guy doesn't come, she's okay in Christ. She's just going to be serving purpose in Christ. Guys, that is being busy in waiting season. It's not actually waiting. Is living, like you're living your life. Your life continues. You're not waiting for, it is not the end. You see, that season you're waiting for, that thing you're waiting for is not the end. Life still moves on. So start living like life is moving on. Anyways, the number two thing that you gain from reading this book, it ultimately kills off the pressure of being in a relationship, finding love, and marriage. You see that pressure. I thought that reading this book was going to mount more pressure of that desire to be married. And guess what? The desire to be married is not anything bad, but the extreme of it, that pressure, that feeling of my life has not started until I attain this, now that is pressure. That is the wrong kind of desire to have, and reading this book kills it off. It helps you to manage it. In fact, I'm telling you, once I was done, I was in the middle of it, and the pressure was gone. It was gone. It was not even there again. I'm like, I still have a whole lot to do. I still have my whole life stretched out, planned ahead of me. Why am I feeling pressured and static? Because what pressure does to you is to keep you static, to keep you not moving, it's to keep you immobile. Anyways, the third thing that you gain from reading this book is that you come to know God's desire for you in marriage. Waiting to be married or preparing to get married is actually getting God's purpose for you in marriage. Oh, in marriage is what you come to do. God is able to give you instructions ahead of time. I hope you know that. God is able to tell you, oh, this is the names you are going to name your child. This is what is going to happen in marriage. I want you to prepare for it. I'm giving you strength for it. This is what you start to fulfill. This is what you start to walk in marriage. This is the ministry I'm going to give you and your husband as a couple ministry. And he's going to start to tell you now. And so once you read this book, you will get to know those desires of God for you in marriage. The first thing that you're going to learn from reading this book is that it just has a way of cleaning your antenna of receiving instructions from God. It cleans it off. It's like your ear is clean, your focus is changed, your eyes is changed. It helps you to see with clear understanding what God wants for you and what to do with your life in the present, in the now. Because here we're talking about marriage, we are thinking, oh, it's in the future, it might not be soon, or it might even be soon, maybe a year to come, maybe 6 months to come. But what about now? And so reading this book, even if it's about a marriage or relationship, it's going to help you to know what to do with your life now. You're not confused. And so those are the 4 things you gain from reading this book. Now, can we move on to the best part? Let's move on to the best part of the lessons that I learned from reading this book. Sweet. Guess what? There are 3 things that I learned from reading this book. And the first thing might be a shocker, but it opened me up to my red flags. Oh my god, guys, I saw so many red flags. It kick-started and also added to my emotional healing. Guys, I realized that there were a lot to heal from. It already started a year earlier. It started, and then it just opened my eyes to what I had this, I used to be this. It's Sometimes we make a lot of joke about, not even joke, but we make a lot of emphasis on, oh my God, guys, be open to whatever red flags your spouse is going to have so you can be free and everything. But we forget that even we ourselves may have red flags as well. In fact, I've seen a lot of Christian creators make content or skits about when we are saying that, oh God, this person, I want to marry this person, and who knows, God is saving that person from you. Not that God is saving you from that person. God is saving that person from you because you have a lot of red flags and you have a lot of things to work on. And so, reading this book opened me up to my own red flags, and it added to some parts of my healing. And so, I'm grateful that I read this book, guys. I started to work in a lot of things, and I grew a lot. There was a lot of growth, a lot of growth. And so, the second thing that I learned from reading this book is that it rewired my mentality and my way of thinking. I don't even know. It just changed a lot of my perspectives. The way I saw myself, aside from red flags, I carried myself with a lot of honor, with a lot of dignity, more. And I just grew personally. I grew personally, and I'm just so grateful for this book. It helped me to see myself in a better light, honestly. The third lesson that I learned from this book is that taught me, in fact, not just teach me alone, it helped me to lift my burdens and allowed me to learn how to swap burdens with God. Like, this is not a me problem, this is not my responsibility, this is a God problem. And so I'm going to give it to Him. I'm going to I used to think that, oh, I used to give my problems to God and just allow God take the wheel and all of those things. But it was through this book I realized that, oh, there are a lot of times that I had taken the pen away from God's hand and decided to write my own story myself. And so I became more conscious of, oh, God, I'm giving you the pen of my life. I'm giving you the pen of my life concerning this aspect, in fact, of my life, everything in every aspect. And so, yeah, I decided that I was not going to have the responsibility for anything and just give it to God. Give it back to God, give it back to God, and dance to His sweetest song and let Him just write my love story. And so, guys, our book reviews are going to be short like this. We have come to the end of today's episode of the Reviews Corner, the book review, reviewing When God Writes Your Love Stories by Eric and Leslie Ludy. You can find it on Amazon. And if you want to get the book, with that, I have a copy, but it's not a physical copy. And so you would have to still search it out on Amazon and get the book. So we've come to the end of the Reviews Corner, this episode, the book review. I am so excited to be sharing. It feels like I shared a part of myself to you because this is love. This is definitely love. What else? This is love. This is love. This is love. What else is there if I'm sharing you my, like, this is what I read. I'm sharing you these stories that has blessed my life. I'm sharing it with you, and because I'm sure that it's going to bless you, it's going to help you, it's going to strengthen you. All right, I still remain your host, Igbinlade Timlua Princess, the Storyshower. Until next time, please like, share, and comment. Comment on this video, guys, and subscribe to this channel. I love you guys so much. This is my first time of saying it, and I'm blushing. I love you guys so much. Bye. So, quickly, guys, I want to share with you some lines from this book. I know I've shared the lessons I've learned, but I'd like to share with you some lines from this book that I think should pop out to you, just like we have our spotlight scenes. It should pop out to you when you read this book, when God writes a love story. And so the first thing first is someone's testimony that was recorded in this book. And she said, which is an attitude I have taken already. And she said, as for guys pursuing me for temporary relationships, she says, my attitude is I'm already taken. Until God brings my future husband along and I know he's the one, I am not available. I love it. I love it so much. In fact, that is the attitude I'm carrying, because I just believe that wherever is going to come from me would go through my Father, which is God. And so even if I'm going to carry on the attitude of, oh, I'm already taken. In fact, there's someone I know, I don't know this person. I saw this video on Instagram about a purity ring that he had that seemed like a wedding band, and he was always wearing it, so it seemed like as though he was already taken, like he was already married. And when God told him it was time to take it off, which meant that, oh, I'm ready, I'm bringing someone now to you, and he was showing us a video of how he took it off, and I was like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. This is the kind of being faithful to your spouse, because this is one of the things that they talked about in this book, being faithful to your future spouse, like as though they are watching you right now. They're watching every relationship that you have with the opposite sex. They're watching every conversation that you have with the opposite sex, and how do you think they want to feel? Are you going to be faithful? Are you going to be involving in infidelity? And it's not like you're involving in infidelity because presently and currently you're single, but having the attitude of, oh, I'm already taken because I'm trying to be faithful. I'm trying to learn faithfulness, because you don't just enter into marriage or be married and then you start practicing being faithful, or you start practicing fidelity. You can start from now, guys. You can start from now. And so, yes, let's move on to the next line that I want to mention. So this says, as Christians, we need a new mindset towards God's involvement in every area of our life, especially this one. Whether we grew up with just try not to have premarital sex, or you had a 10-page rule book for relationships, either approach denies the beauty of God's ways, because the beauty of God's way is that he wants to be involved. He's not trying to box you and make you a moralist by forcing you into obeying his rules and saying, oh, you are technically not doing anything bad or not committing sexual sin. It's not just about that. He wants to be involved. He wants to choose with you and for you. He wants to be involved. And so, yes, I like that. And yes, let's look at another line. And so this particular line says, the reason why some of us are such poor specimens of Christianity is because we have no Almighty Christ. We have Christian attributes and experiences, but there is no abandonment to Jesus Christ. That is heavy. That is heavy. And so this is one of them. Now, this is one of them explaining what it means to be in abandonment to Jesus, and to not put God in a box. And so it says, when I really stopped and looked at my life, I was startled to realize that I had tried to fit God into my life by praying each morning, reading my Bible every night, and attending church weekly. Yet, it was not in control. It was not the central focus of my daily life. In reality, I was only giving him a few minutes of scattered attention here and there. I finally came into the realization that unless I slowed down and made a genuine effort to seek him, instead of being so consumed with my own ambitions or routines, I would have a hard time discerning his will for me in any area. I would have a hard time. When I read that, I had to think back to my life. In fact, right now, even reading it again, I'm just like, wow, Am I giving God scattered attention here and there, or am I totally giving him my full focus and allowing him to be the central focus? It might not be, it has to be number one, the center at it all, the one that is in every area of our lives. And that is so powerful, guys. You need to go and read this book. Let me read this one. It says, I once heard a Christ-like guy capture well what a real man is looking for in a woman. Do you want to know? Okay. He declared, I don't want a woman who just turns my head. I want a woman who turns my heart. Guys, I've given you the code. Real men want a woman that turns their heart. Go out there and be a heart turner.